Welcome tankers, cooBLIMEY here, and today I've got something slightly different for you. I'm going to show you the best of a day. This will have to be broken down into a couple different videos, but these will be the 6 or 7 best replays I had of the last 24 hours or so. And now we are starting out in the field here, and it's a good trick here to know. If you can't see the enemy because there's something in between, sometimes you can shoot the obstacle and make it disappear, and all of a sudden you can see your enemy. But, of course, I'm not likely to be able to penetrate the turret of a heavy tank that's as armored as that guy. But there is a plus or minus 25% RNG in World of Tanks, so sometimes it's worth a shot trying, because occasionally you will get a really high roll and you'll be able to penetrate or sometimes blow up the ammo rack of some of these guys. And it can sometimes be fairly dangerous to play up here in between all the buildings, because there are always TDs sitting invisibly in the A line, and as soon as you get spotted, you gotta watch out for incoming fire from, well, both directions here now. Now, I'm spotted. I'm gonna sit here even though I'm taking fire because I want to kill this guy. And I figure it's worth taking a couple hits to get an auto loader out of the game. And, of course, run back to safety. Now, it's nice, there's a lot of trees up here, so you can sit and shoot invisibly occasionally. Now, here's another tank that I'm unlikely to be able to penetrate from this distance, but I'm not spotted, so I figured why not try and take off his tracks and strand him there so my teammates can kill him. But of course that doesn't even work. Now I'm just gonna wait to reload and sit here behind the bushes, knowing I'm not spotted. I don't like having teammates beside me, because if he shoots, he might get spotted, and then the enemy will be shooting at him, and if they miss, they're gonna be hitting me. And again, I'm just gonna try and penetrate this guy, but no luck, and I'm not getting very good random number generator rolls. But one does penetrate. And of course, my team's ignoring the cap. But we have a lot of time, so things aren't too desperate yet, and we have enough guys at the edge of the city to do resets as long as they get spotted. Now I figure I'm gonna have to go, I figure I'll loop around the north and try and get in to cap around from the north. But of course that means going through these guys first. So now that I'm reloaded, it's okay if I get spotted. You don't want to be spotted out in the middle of nowhere while you're reloading in the Bulldog, because you got 30 seconds where you can't fire at anyone. Now this is a rather nice sequence here. Dead, dead, and dead. You gotta love auto loaders with 10 shells in them. And now my job is to get in to cap and kill the final remaining guys, because if you can see, my team is all sitting back hiding for some reason. Why are they not attacking anyone? Now, I wasn't expecting the light tank to be there. I was expecting something with a much slower turret traverse, so I thought I would have a lot more time to get back to safety. But with 10 shells in the autoloader, it doesn't really matter. And the T-71 is going to be pretty much pointless now when you have the Bulldog that's better in pretty much every way. And I'm just going to fast forward here that with my ammo rack done and a minute reload, you would think that any of my teammates would have been able to kill this guy, but no, it had to have been me. And now we are on El Halaf, a map that actually most people absolutely hate scouting on, because you can't really scout anywhere from the opposite ridge, but once you're down in the middle of the bowl here, you're in danger of being killed at any time. Now, I sit there for a couple minutes and not much happens, so we'll just fast forward here until some action comes, because passive scouting isn't the most fun to watch. But I've got pretty good camo, so you notice he didn't spot me until he got up within proxy spotting distance, and that's the benefit of having camo on the tank and a crew with full camo skills. Now I know I'm going to have to reload here soon, so I just want to get rid of the shells I have left and then get somewhere where I can go invisible, and then wait for my gun to reload before doing anything dangerous. So I'm just going to find a tree here, knock it down, which can be kind of dangerous because it lets the enemy know you're there, but there are spots at each corner of your tank and on the center top of the turret where the spotting lasers go to from all the different tanks, so you want to get all of those covered. Now I figure we're gonna go hunt this heavy tank, and I've got enough shells to kill him. And there are some rocks over here that I can hide behind to reload. So of course everything bounces. But, as always, we try and get behind them. And now we just try and get to safety and reload. But of course we have guys shooting at us from all directions. So we try and get out of the line of fire from all of them. Try and find a spot where none of them can shoot you. And that appears to be this location. And it's perfect because I'll get to the top of the hill right as I reload. And we know there's a T-30 over on our right. And there he is. And he gets his gun turned to us extremely fast. Much faster than I was expecting. But luckily there's a rock here. Now here's a good trick. I sit here and wait for myself to go invisible, so he thinks I'm sitting there waiting for him, and he's going to attack me because he's got a much better gun and a lot of armor. So I just go around behind him, and he knows I'm coming because I wasn't where he was expecting me to be, but it's too late. And now once you're on the opposite side of a T-30's turret, he doesn't present much of a difficulty. Although here, I want to make sure this shot hits, because if it doesn't, I've got a 30-second reload. So that's why I waited until I had a nice clear shot at his back armor, the weakest armor, at not much of an angle. And I was going to try and ram this guy, but my teammate gets to him first. And since the other tank's on the other side, we won't bother showing you that kill. Now, if you've seen my other videos, you know I kind of like this spot here. It's a lot more dangerous than a T-49, because the T-49 seems to have much worse camo than some of the other light tanks. And it's got a gun with terrible penetration. which is why I didn't shoot at the first two tanks there. I waited for the one I knew I could penetrate. And we did, and luckily we got a hit in the side, and I figured I would be spotted there, but I wasn't. So I went to run away, and I didn't have to. So why not go right back? Oh, and then we get spotted here.
Ready to fire.
And this is a good location because you can usually run away fairly safe from that spot, because there's all these buildings here and there's hills covering you, and the tanks down on the A line that you're in most danger of getting shot by can't shoot over that hill at you. So it's one of the best locations in the game. It's one of the few where you can get up right at the enemy front lines, and you can sometimes shoot without them spotting you. It's one of the only locations in the entire game like that. So we'll happily go right back here, because if my team wasn't this far forward, this would be a lot more dangerous than it is now. But we do have some guys forward, so I know this location's fairly safe. So again, we're just going to sit here and passive scout, get binoculars up, and see if we can get shots at anyone. And the aim time on the T-49 is just absolutely horrendous. So if you're wondering why I'm not shooting occasionally, it's, as you see, it was just there when the reticle got fully aimed. And it still misses by a mile. And I went to run away, and again, we didn't get spotted. Shockingly. As I mentioned with the T-49, like here, you usually get spotted from, what's that, 300 meters away when someone peeks around a corner, even without shooting. So a T-49 against a lightly armored light tank is pretty devastating, as long as you have somewhere to hide as you reload. And this player is obviously a newer player because he doesn't know that I have to avoid him for about 20 seconds here. If he'd just come around the building and shot me, I might have been dead.
Enemy armor is destroyed.
But he has a horrible reload too. So now we're going to get away from the center of the map. And I'm zigzagging in here. I'm trying to stay in between the hills to give the enemy less of a shot at me, instead of my whole side. Maybe they only see a bit of my turret. And like all turretless TDs, we want to get around behind them or beside them. And I probably should have shot there, because it cost me a kill. I'm going for the back armor. And he just shot, so I know I can sit here and aim. And as I mentioned, with the T-49, you really have to aim, because the gun is probably the most inaccurate gun in the game. It's insane. I don't know how many times I've missed shots against tanks that are literally parked right beside me, and the shot somehow goes 45 degrees down and hits the ground 5 feet in front of you. And luckily we reload before the arty gets a chance to shoot. And now it'll just be hunting down the enemy team. Or at least it should be just hunting down the enemy team. We have a tremendous lead here that you shouldn't lose often. So I'm going to here avoid the circle, because again, you don't want to tell the enemy I'm invisible now, and I don't want to tell them exactly where I am. And with such an inaccurate gun, you want to get up as close to the enemy tanks as possible. you shoot, and there's only about 150 penetration on the best ammo for this gun, and the other two are like 60 or 70. The penetration is sorely lacking. So you're always, if you shoot at the front armor of almost any tank, you're gonna bounce. So you have to get close to them because the gun's so inaccurate, and you have to get around beside them or behind them because it has no penetration. So it makes for a rather unique playstyle for the T-49. You have to go all Leroy Jenkins, and you have to fly in around and get shots around at the side and backs of tanks from really close range. But luckily it has 1100 hit points, so you can get away with it.